Welcome to the Disability News Report. I'm your host, Jennifer Price. Okay, if you use a wheelchair, then you are particularly very familiar with issues coming when it comes to traveling. Not traveling in the sense of flying on an airplane. I have discussed that, and and that is in another interview. What I'm talking about today can just be, what if you want to go to the beach? All of the problems that could be associated with taking a wheelchair through a sandy beach. What if you want to, go somewhere traveling through the mountains or hiking somewhere? All of the issues that could be associated with that. Well, my guest today is Simon Mulholland. He is the founder and CEO of Pony AxeS, a play on words for Pony Access, which allows someone in a wheelchair to basically sort of take their wheelchair and onto a trailer is what I'm calling it, just for easier visualization. That trailer is then connected to a pony, and the pony is the one essentially pulling the trailer, and therefore you in a wheelchair wherever you want to go. And this pony, because he's a horse at the end of the day, can go with this trailer, this product that he's created, wherever you want to go. So it is providing access for people in a wheelchair to be able to now enjoy and travel in the same respects that everyone or other people do as well. That interview is coming up next. So, Simon, thanks for coming on to the show today. It's great having you here to talk about your company, Pony AxeS.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so why don't we just kind of start at the beginning in terms of, I'm interested to know why you created this company. Where did the idea even come from? What made you interested in developing it?
That's a complex question. I suspect most of the people who come on here have a complex backstory. But I got involved in building pony-powered vehicles because my mother gave at that stage, only two daughters, a small pony. And he was only about 10 hands high, 1 meter high. And if I sat on him, I'm 6'3" and 17 stone, it was going to not improve him. So I thought, exercise him, just buy a safe one-man pony-powered vehicle. And they don't exist. So I thought, I'll build one, because although I didn't know it at the time, I am a mad inventor. And so I built one. And then I discovered very early on, somebody said this would be brilliant for people with disabilities. And the riding for the disabled and the entire horse world since the year 2000 have shunned me completely. I'm not allowed to speak to them. I'm not allowed to meet them. I'm not allowed to show them my vehicles.
Wow.
I've been just excluded from my industry completely. Wow. And I slightly felt, well, stuff you. Sure. And that's where it all started.
So then let's talk about it. What exactly, because you definitely solved a problem. So if you could just talk about exactly what exactly Pony AxeS is, it's definitely a play on words, but you're using ponies to provide access for people with disabilities who may not otherwise be able to access certain areas when they're traveling. So let's just talk about that.
The point of it is that I realized very early on that actually, if you're looking for a propulsion system, talking pure engineering, that I can get a pony-powered vehicle to go places with a wheelchair that I cannot do any other way. It's simply, the pony is actually the best propulsion system. I've got good friends in a couple of universities, and they agree with me that there is no mechanical propulsion system that will beat a pony pulling my vehicle with a wheelchair on it. It's just, it takes anybody in any wheelchair across any terrain, up sand dunes, through heather, bracken, gorse, rocks, deep mud, into the sea, snow, you name it, it does it. And the other virtue is that most people like ponies. This isn't a pony activity, it's an AxeS activity. My passion is making it possible for anyone in any wheelchair to go anywhere. And I've done it. And it's fascinating to have done it. And the reasons I did it are not particularly because I'm nice or kind or generous. In the very earliest stages, I thought that I could use people with disabilities to boost my business. And I rapidly learned that if you are disabled, but the one thing that really unites all people with disabilities, it seems to me, is the word fight. You fight for everything that you want. Nothing comes easy. Now, I'm not disabled, but I am fighting to be allowed to help people with disabilities. Well, if I'm having to fight to be allowed to help them, I hate to think what it's like having to live with a disability myself. So that's how I came into it. But I'm a mad inventor, and I'm by nature an engineer. I'm not a trained engineer, but I love the idea of solving problems. So to me, the big buzz is somebody says, you can't do this. And I think, basically, up yours, yes, I can. So I do. And this is a great thing to do. The other advantage is that ponies have an ability to interact with people much better than I can. And they are hugely good at reading people, understanding people, working with people. And to make this happen, the thing you have to do is to prepare to stand back and just say, hey, the pony is better at this than I am. I'll let him do it. And with Obama, I've got one really cool pony.
Well, that's one thing that I love about this story is that you're certainly providing physical access to places using the pony, but horses in general are, very therapeutic. I know here in the States, there are many programs that are horse therapy programs or horse therapy camps for, children especially. So they're very therapeutic. Have you had any of your customers or clients talk about just the sort of therapeutic effect of not only being with the horse, but also being glad to finally be able to go places they previously could not travel?
Oh, the buzz of getting people. I mean, I was working with a guy up in Aberdeenshire, and he told me he hadn't been on a beach since 1974.
Oh my.
And it makes me almost feel physically sick. I cannot imagine not being able, and he was a keen bird watcher, he was a naturalist, he was an outdoors guy, and he couldn't go on the beach. And within 10 minutes of meeting him, he was on the vehicle. Wow. In his wheelchair, and in half an hour, because it took us that long to get down the track to St. Cyrus Beach, because it's a long and winding and very rough track, he was on the beach, and it was just great to watch. But what I found fascinating was I was working with Obama just before Christmas at Corsford School in Scotland, and there was a guy there who's got cerebral palsy, and he has, to an extent, uncontrolled arm movements. Mm-hmm. And he wanted to stroke Obama. And I was saying to everybody, look, just don't worry. Nothing that this guy does will either damage or scare Obama. So I was standing back, and I managed to persuade everyone else to stand back. And Obama was just standing next to him and letting this guy try and touch him gently. Wow. And he hit Obama 3 or 4 times while trying to bring his hands back under control. And Obama just thought, this guy doesn't want to hit me. I can see that. Mm-hmm. He never flinched. I was watching him like a hawk. His ears didn't flicker, his eyes didn't blink. he was completely chilled.
Hmm.
And I was working up again, just north of St Andrews and on a beach there. And this girl, she'd been out on the vehicle and she's got some ability to walk. And she came up to Obama and basically hugged his head. I cannot do this to Obama. There is no way he will let me hug his head. And she was basically hyperventilating into his ear for about 5 minutes.
Wow.
And he stood there and he didn't move. And in fact, one of the best pictures we got was of this girl, and her brother came up, obviously wanting to also interact with Obama. And the look she gave him, my pony. And this is the thing. But the point is that I don't do any, Obama does the therapy. He's the one who interacts with people. He understands what people want and what they like. I just let him do it. It's great. And all ponies, if you back off and give them freedom, and as much as anything, you give them freedom from pain and fear. And sadly, there's no other animal that you can buy a whip for as a child.
Yeah. So, can we kind of talk about this elephant in the room of naming the pony Obama? Because you're not in the United States, so you didn't vote for Obama. Not to say that you don't like, our former President Obama, but why did you decide to name your pony Obama?
I got Obama at a very low point in my life in January 2009, as Obama was being inaugurated. I had been watching the elections, fascinated and hoping that Obama would win, and he did. And I'd been given my pony as a untrainable rescue reject with serious problems. I mean, he was considered to be vicious and difficult and bloody-minded and impossible and everything like that. And he was exactly what I wanted. He was also the ugliest pony I think I'd ever seen. And I just needed something. I was right at the bottom. I wanted something to work back with. And Obama and I started at the bottom together. And I thought, well, he's black and white and it's the least important thing about him, so I'll call him Obama. And I did it as a spur of the moment joke back in January 2009. I have never, ever felt embarrassed about the name. I've never thought, God, I wish I hadn't called him that. And there's very few politicians that I can think of who have behaved like a gentleman for that long.
Sure.
And so he is Obama. I get a certain amount of flack on horse websites from people. And anyone who wants to give me flack, they don't like my pony's name, can get blocked by me because he's my pony. And I respect the president and I respect my pony. And it was meant as a compliment. And I do hope that if Barack Obama ever hears about it, that he will take it as it was meant, which is a total compliment. Yeah. And he could be proud of the pony who bears his name, because Obama has done everything I've ever asked him to do. He's a great pony.
Nice.
But he's got a great president.
Yeah, I agree on both fronts. That's a fantastic story. But and last thing is, I want to double back on a comment that you made about how even currently you find yourself fighting for the disabled community. In what way have you found yourself still fighting for the community?
Well, I did a TV program with the BBC, which was, I think, a mistake on their part. They've run programs on me twice, and the day after each program, they stopped speaking to me and refused to let me use the video or anything like that. And it was taking a lady on the beach at St. Cyrus, and she'd, the year before, been to the beach on a virtual reality headset and thought this was the best she'd achieve. And I took her to the beach in a wheelchair, no problems, videoed, filmed. And the film on TV, when it was on Facebook, got 7 million hits.
Wow.
Not one horse organization would speak to me.
Hmm.
Not one countryside organization would speak to me.
Wow.
And part of the problem is the class system. And England is still very class-based.
Sure.
And the public schools, what we call public schools, which are, private. Eton College, which educated Prince William, Prince Harry, Boris Johnson, the Archbishop of Canterbury, and Simon Mulholland. I am not their success story. I used to be posh. I was page of honour to Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother,
Wow.
Prince Harry's great-grandmother, for 2 years, which was brilliant. I mean, she was an awesome lady.
Yeah.
But because wearing the old school tie isn't enough, you have to walk in the old school footsteps. And Eton does not educate children who use wheelchairs. No English public school, which is, I suppose, the equivalent would be Ivy League schools in America. They educate the elite, and they educate the children of the elite who go on to be the elite, and they do not educate children who use wheelchairs.
Oh
If
my.
a state school was to do that, it would be illegal.
Wow.
And people ask me how they get away with it. And I say, well, it's very simple. Eton College, apart from producing me, produced 20 prime ministers, 4 Lord Chancellors. We wrote the laws. Of course we can obey them. It's terribly easy to be law-abiding if you've written the damn thing.
Right. Yes.
And I mean, it sounds extraordinary. I asked all the schools if they would educate a fictitious child. I rang them up anonymously. But Marlborough College, in their 2003 Ofsted report, which is the official report that, from the government on the standard of education, in the Ofsted report, Marlborough College's headmaster states it would be inappropriate for us to educate a child in a wheelchair.
Oh, wow.
Inappropriate. And that's in writing. And you just think, and these people, people I was at school with, run the country, they run the countryside organizations, they run the horse organizations.
Okay.
And if you don't, oddly enough, it is not the fact that I didn't go to a school that educated children in wheelchairs. It's the fact that if my children hadn't, most of us are civilized by our children. Well, some are civilized anyway, but a lot of us need children to civilize us and bring us into the current century.
Yeah.
And my children were educated in the state system, and because I couldn't afford Eton, and I wouldn't have sent them there anyway, believe me. But that is what brings people together, is being part of a community. And if you exclude people with disabilities from your elite schools, no one is going to think that people who use wheelchairs matter.
Yes.
And that is fatal. And that is why I believe I have this permanent battle. No horse organization has ever allowed me to discuss wheelchair access pony pad.
Wow.
Which is
That's an incredible story.
I know. People say, but this can't be true. And I'm thinking, well, sadly, it is. Yeah. I wish it wasn't. I've got a chance at the moment. I think that Glasgow City Council are going to, partly with the COP26 conference happening there, I think they're looking quite seriously at making Glasgow accessible, all the parks, all the green open space, accessible to people who use wheelchairs, and make ponies accessible to the children who don't get to mix with them. One final Obama story. I was at Glasgow Green working with Freewheel North, who are a really good bicycle charity, who are great guys. And I was chatting to Norman, the boss, and Obama was just ambling around. And they've got tarmac tracks and patches of grass in between the tracks where all the kids are riding around on their bikes. And Obama is eating on the patches of grass. And the kids are riding past, stopping, going over to give them a scratch, carrying on riding their bikes. It's all cool. And then Obama lies down and the children carry on coming up to him, giving him a scratch, going off on their bikes again. I cannot walk up to Obama when he's lying down. He will not let me touch him.
Oh.
Kids who he's never met, but who've never met ponies, he trusts.
Oh.
And I just thought it was one of those really great moments. And it was just so casual and relaxing. And it was entirely driven by Obama the pony. I'm passionate about this. The more you just let the pony do what he wants, the better everything goes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's a great story. I mean, I've really enjoyed this time talking with you about not only your business, but just understanding, what it's like in your world, in the pony world, because I'm not in that pony world. And there will be many people who love horses and ponies, but they're not going to know all of the intricacies, the behind the scenes stuff that happens or doesn't happen.
There's one thing I would like to say, which is that over the lockdown, partly I can work with COVID. I am socially distanced because I don't need to come within 2 meters of the person in the wheelchair to operate the system. But I've also rebuilt the entire vehicle system. So it now flat packs. It's very much, this is a system that can go global. So even if England wants to block it, it could work in the US really easily. I mean, basically, you put someone in a wheelchair onto a vehicle, tie them down with tie-down straps, attach the pony to the vehicle, and when things go wrong, if you've got a pony, things always go wrong. When they go wrong, you pull the string and the pony walks or runs away, and the person is still sitting on the vehicle. They're safe. That's why it works. And that safety system is why the English horse world will not talk to me. They don't want safety to be discussed because horses are incredibly dangerous in the UK and it's unnecessary. I've made it safe.
And I just want to kind of clear up, because you're using the word vehicle, and here in the States, when we hear the word vehicle, we're thinking like an SUV or a Toyota or something. But I've gone to your website, and so I've seen some videos. It's almost similar to like a trailer that you would hitch onto the back of a car, is the way that I think of it.
It's a 3-wheeled trailer pony. It's a very low. It's what horse-drawn vehicles would have been if they were built and designed around the year 2000.
Okay.
It's got good electrics. I'm putting a decent sound system in it because I like to play loud music when I'm driving. This is modern. It doesn't mark the grass. It's cool. It's fun. But above all else, it is completely safe.
Yeah.
I work with 2 university engineering departments to make it it's safe. I have worked with people with disabilities for 10 years. We have never, ever had any accident, ever.
Nice.
And I'm not intending to start. It's because, and that's engineering. You can't train a pony to be good. If a lion attacks them, sorry, they run away. If a dog attacks them, they run away. If a helicopter crashes next door, they run away. But if they run away, they can run, but they won't take the vehicle with them because I can disconnect it instantly, and it disconnects automatically if the pony does something stupid. That's it. It's fun. It's easy. It's safe. It's cool. And I love doing it.
Well, I certainly thank you for doing it. And for sure, I mean, maybe this could get scaled, and someone here in the States could see it and pick it up. But regardless, if they're out over in the UK, then they can come visit you, Simon.
Come and see me in Scotland,
yes.
Which is a really good country. I'm a refugee from England now living in Scotland.
Yes. So I appreciate your time today, Simon. Thank you so much for coming on.
And thank you very much. That's really good. Thank you.